we live? I
We're
think
live.
we're live. Hey, folks. So today the stream is going to be a bit slightly different. So due to some unforeseen consequences, Dimitri will be on and off during this stream. So I'll be
My roof is
taking command
so
and potentially not making any career limiting actions during the stream. Uh, in any case, if you don't know me, I'm Philippe. I'm a test engineer on the Insomnia team. So the plan I have for today to talk with you guys, first and foremost, if anyone is watching this on YouTube or Twitch or wherever, if you have any questions, anything that you want to talk with the team, you can reach out on to us on the chat on Slack. So there's a link there on the stream, or and then you can ask there to join the stream, and I will be happy to include you on the stream or whatnot. Or you can just ask questions on the YouTube comments or wherever, and we'll still see them. We'll try to answer them as they show up. That's one thing that we have in plan for today. So feel free to ask us anything and try to reach out to us. The second thing that we have is I want to show you folks how we're doing releases in Insomnia. So when a release gets to you, when you're downloading the latest Insomnia version, what is it like from our side to actually prepare that and to actually um, throw that out into the world and publish a release? That's the second thing that I want to show you. Of course, that will take time. So in between that, we're going to also be reviewing a few pull requests, a few issues, whatever we have time for, so to speak. We have 1 hour. We already started a bit late, but yeah. All right, let's do it. In the meantime, Dimitri, do you want to say anything, or we're good to go?
sounds fun to me.
All right, cool. So, recently we've done a bunch of changes to the way we actually release Insomnia. So, as of now, there's two ways of us to release Insomnia. So, for instance, if if you go into a pull request and you for any reason decide to contribute something to Insomnia, or a contributor, someone that works with Kong and with Insomnia actually is coding up something, what will happen is actually let's look, for example, at this pull request, right? In order for me as a tester or some our product manager or someone else to interact with the build without baking what is on this pull request hands-on, one of the things that we've introduced is this release recurring build. So folks can come here and they will find pre-baked builds for Insomnia that have those code changes. So beforehand, we didn't have this kind of stuff, and every time you push something into a pull request, oh sorry, yes, Dimitri, I can hear you, but very low, so you'll have to increase the audio.
How about now?
Yeah,
Better?
now much better.
All right. I was just gonna say, yeah, make it bigger. So when you're looking, if anyone watches on their phones, I watch stuff like this on my phones anyway. We can see it. Like zoom in. I mean,
Oh, can I zoom in?
yeah. Command plus. You're on a Mac.
Oh no, no! I thought you meant like there's some
Oh, so
special
restream thing.
command.
Yeah. No. Regular zoom.
All right, so this is how we provide these kinds of builds for Insomnia. So whenever we're testing out something on a pull request and whatnot, we have these that we can download for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS and whatnot. That solves one part of the problem that we had lately. That was we needed a way to quickly test a pull request, even if it was from an open source contribution or something that the team has been working on. The other thing that we were missing was, in order for us to actually come here into the releases, and in order for us to share an actual release out into the world, it involved like a lot of different manual steps and scripts that we needed to run locally on our machines, and it was very error-prone process. To give you an idea, in order for us to have this, so for instance, something like this, these assets and whatnot, here it would take like one engineer one day just preparing everything and running all those manual steps and whatnot. So what we did was actually we ported over all those different steps that everything can be to a certain extent automated. So what we did was we automated into a workflow. So as of now, in order for us to release an alpha, a beta, or even a stable release out into the world, what we can do is we have here the release recurring workflow, which is the one that I showed you before. So it's the one that builds on every pull request and whatnot. And we have here three new ones: release start, build, and publish. And let's say that today I want to launch a new alpha of Insomnia, right? So I go in here into release start, and I can just go here, run workflow. I'm going to release a new alpha, and this will be with the code that is as of now in develop. Let's give it a version number. So we just launched this version, and we're going to launch an unstable actually. So we're going to go ahead and make this .3, which is the next one. And iteration is in case that I wanted to have a next iteration on this specific alpha or beta and whatnot. So we can leave that as 0. And that's pretty much it on this part. So what will happen now is all those extra manual steps that we had, they are happening here in code on they are defined this in this YAML file and whatnot, and we're doing those by hand. So in a few minutes, what we'll see is this will finish up. It will trigger a release build where we're going to bake those artifacts in order to publish them out into the world of the new and of this new Insomnia Alpha version. And in a few minutes, basically, we'll have at least a version that we can download into our machines and test a new alpha version and whatnot. So that is running, it's setting up the branch. It's going to create a cool thing. It's going to also open up a pull request. I can show you how it looks like. For instance, here we have one of a minor patch version that we're preparing. And automatically, what these workflows, this GitHub Actions workflows do for us is exactly bake the Insomnia artifacts and provide them here for folks to test. And we even have some instructions here. Hey, we're ready to throw these artifacts out into the world, so you can just run the publish workflow and whatnot. That's pretty much it. Now, of course, we're not going to stay here and watch the paint dry, so to speak, and wait for these workflows to finish up. So what we're going to do is, in case nobody has any questions for now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look on into some pull requests. We have a few ones that are marked with the Insomnia stream tag. We can look at any of these ones. All right, let's look at this one. Concatenating xcon security OpenID connect config. Sounds like an interesting one. All right.
Looks like it's going to be with open API to Kong, rather.
Exactly. So if you're not aware of this feature, basically, actually, I'll show folks what it does all about. Because if you don't know, if you use Insomnia for a while, and you don't know this, Insomnia is actually now part of Kong, and Kong has their own products and whatnot. So one of the cool things that you can do with Insomnia, and even with the Insomnia CLI, give me just a second. I guess this is that there are certain integrations that we have on Insomnia with other Kong products. So one of the things that you can do is you can actually, from an open API spec that you have on Insomnia, for example, you can create, if you're a Kong user as well, the Kong gateway and whatnot, you can also create the config and whatnot. So this pull request, we already see here that says something xkong security, OpenID and whatnot. We can assume that it's related to these kinds of features of working with other Kong products and whatnot. All right. So the contributor here is telling us that this is related to something here, to an issue. All right. Security schemes do not inject issuer and scopes into OpenID plugin with OpenAPI to Kong. OpenAPI to Kong is a library that we have inside Insomnia to do this translation of an OpenAPI spec into a Kong spec, so to speak. And they left us here a few reproduction steps. So This will be a good opportunity for us also to test out if this does the trick or not. All right. When using, okay, are not applied. When using security schemas, okay.
So usually these like X Kong things are overrides, just as
Yeah.
like a bit of context. I don't know if I don't think. Yeah.
All right. But this document here is a typical OpenAPI doc, right?
Yep. Well,
In theory.
except for I think the OpenAPI spec has like a provision for how to extend it, and that X, well, it's a header. I mean, ultimately, I think, but yeah, I think this is it is spec compliant OpenAPI. That's true. Yeah.
Okay. If what you're saying is true, then what that means in practice is that we can, in theory, open Insomnia. Let's open up the latest version. And you're saying that, for instance, I can go ahead and, in theory, copy paste this into here, and it will work, right?
That's the
In
hope.
which case, so it doesn't render, but in theory, it's not invalid. Is that what you mean?
Well, no, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know why. Does it say why it can't render it? It could be just because this is like an example spec for like input and
Yeah.
output. But we're trying to do Kubernetes. Is it Kubernetes? No, we're trying to create declarative config. So that config generator thing that you did is the way to go. Ah, okay.
Okay, so this is not an example that I can just copy paste into here, I assume.
I'm taking a look too on the side.
Okay. Um, okay, and they're mentioning that this happens because there's some line here, okay, and not. All right, and here the issue reporter is saying that they found out what could be possibly causing this. Okay. All right. In which case, let's go back to the pull request. There should be here. Oh, okay. Approve and run. So we hadn't yet approved this to run. So in the meantime, this is going to bake a build that I could use to test this out also locally. One of the things that would have helped in this pull request in specific would have been to provide an example that we could use to test the before and after. So if you're thinking about contributing something into Insomnia, one of the things that you can help us out with is exactly share an example of what you tried and used to test out your change, because that helps us give more context and it also helps us test out on our end, so to speak. All right. While that is baking the builds, Dimitri, is it okay if I jump into another pull request while this is
Sure,
baking
fine by
builds?
me.
All right. So let's look at another one.
Do you want to? Do you want?
And
Well, before we do that, actually,
yeah,
do you
yeah,
want to try to pull down this branch and see if we
yeah,
could build from this branch and if it would still have the same problem?
yeah, absolutely. Pull requests. The name of this one is concating xcon.
I
That's
haven't seen GitHub
pulling.
Desktop in so long. It looks beautiful.
What?
I haven't seen GitHub Desktop in so long. It looks really nice.
I mainly use it for for pulling pull requests because it does a bunch of stuff for me already. So I just use it for that. All right. So we're on the actual branch. We can go ahead and start building it now. I guess npm run bootstrap and npm run app store. I think that's I'm always troubled because I never know if it's actual app start or if it's with a different thing and whatnot. We at one point we'll need to change this, but yeah, it's app start. All right. So while this is running and my Mac OS is sounding like a fighter jet, we're gonna go ahead and in fact, I'm curious, Dimitri, because I wanted to actually see if by adding something else here, if I could at least see that it becomes a valid one.
Yeah, usually we tell you what you're missing.
Let me check if we're throwing any.
It needs like, okay, I can tell you for one thing, it needs to have like there's like a preamble where it says
Yeah.
like Open API, 3.0 and info name something something is there. Those are the basic building blocks that have to be there.
Yeah.
So you could go to like the pet store example or something in the code base and just grab. That's what I usually do. Just go like we have test fixtures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
at the very top. Like, yeah, exactly.
Likely, this is the kind of stuff that was missing. All right. OAS3 schema get property should have property responses. Okay. We're just gonna put something here. Oh snap! Can't just this, and we probably don't need the reference, so it won't complain. Should, am I missing something? Application JSON.
Yeah, you
properties.
just put empty object there or something. Yeah. All right, sweet. See if it'll generate now.
Yeah, now it seems like it's generating.
Well, I mean, you see if you can generate.
Oh yeah. You mean like the declarative config? All right.
Beautiful.
Okay, cool. So now we have an example that we can use. Let's copy paste it on the side. Example that we can use to test out what we want. This pull request. This is still building. And in here, it's probably still running the recurring release ones. All right.
Do you fully understand the first sentence in the it's like a paragraph long sentence in the beginning of this PR?
Let me check.
Well,
I don't think I do,
we
but
could go
let's check.
over it again. Yeah.
All right. This will enable us to set more
you zoom in a little
configuration
bit?
properties. Do you need me to zoom?
A little bit more.
More?
That's probably good.
All right, cool. So we'll enable us to set more configuration properties than available from the OIS DC plugin. The OS security schema object for OpenID configuration is replaced by the XCOM security OpenID.
Yeah, that's the override part that I was talking about. Like there's a security scheme object in the Open API, and it's overridden by XCong security Open API connect.
Mm-hmm. So, and what would that look like in practice? Like if I, because I've never used Kong declarative configs and whatnot, so I'm not even sure.
Could you zoom
what they should
Insomnia
look.
a little bit too?
Yeah. Is it good like this?
Yeah, cool. You could like, I wish we could move that preview pane like out completely, but anyway, you can like drag it maybe. So what it looks like is for the security schemes, it's overridden by what's in this stuff, like from config enabled protocols.
Mm-hmm.
So we should look at the declarative config and see if that stuff is there.
It does have bearer there, and I don't see anything that says security.
Well, OpenID Connect is there.
Okay.
So I guess that's probably what it is. Auth methods bearer. Yeah. I'll be curious to see if we get is Insomnia local still starting in the background?
Yeah. think it's running Bootstrap right now.
Okay, cool.
So in theory, what that means is that probably this chunk here with the auth methods wouldn't show up as a plugin. Am I wrong to think that, or it's something else?
This is like plugin config. So go to the file. It's only a one-line change in the PR. Go to the PR change, and we should be able to get more context for what it's actually doing. The file's changed, yeah. So we're gonna change this to a spread. You know, like how to. We can go over that in a second. Like if you don't know how to convert the objects data sign to a spread. But basically, it's saying like first take the plugin config and then override it with the Kong security config. Like take what's there and override it instead of just replacing it. It's saying A equals A plus B, not before it said A equals B. If there's a Kong security config, just completely replace what was there before with it. But now it's saying if there's a Kong security config, add it in like as overrides.
Into the config object. So in the end, we should see a couple more stuff, right?
That's right. And I'm going to join your live share too.
Yeah. Okay, so here I have the baked Insomnia with this change. So let's go ahead and create a new design document, create, let's copy paste what we have in the other one. I think we can zoom in a bit more. And clear the config. Oh, okay. So this
a lot more
looks
stuff.
slightly different. And let's check this one. Clarity config. Okay, so it definitely has, besides the auth methods, it has the scopes required and issuer. So it definitely added a few more fields in here.
Yep. So if you go back to the code, I'll just make that change for the object data sign now.
In theory, that would do the same thing, right?
Also, it's required by spec. So this is should be exactly the same. Like the spread operator is defined in terms of object data sign, so it's supposed to be like literally no difference. There's actually an ESLint plugin for this. We just don't use it yet. Maybe we should. It would have helped this person in this case, like guide them. They said in the PR, like I'm not a. I think they said like I'm.
Yeah. They did mention that. So yeah.
Right. So I always feel bad when like to change something like this because it feels very nitpicky to me. But we just don't use object data sign. It's like a compatibility for in a time like 5 years ago when the spread operator wasn't in the JavaScript spec yet, which it is now. Object data sign was the thing that you could be sure would work everywhere. But now we have transpilers too, so we don't even really. This probably gets transpiled to object data sign syntax anyway.
Okay.
But anyway, so we should see if we can write a test for this.
All right. Let's go into security plugin test. And in our case, this is where would we hit this in the generate security plugin. Okay. So
we could try to take what we had like really like from this PR and write a test with that maybe.
You mean like the example that I have?
Yeah, exactly.
The example that I have on Insomnia?
Yep.
Okay. Mind you, this in my screen, this looks really big. So let's go ahead and what will we call it? It appends Kong security.
Sorry, I like just to remind everyone, like I said in the beginning, my roof is being replaced right now, so it's sometimes if there's like hammering going on, I can't respond. But yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. Um, cats. Security. Okay. And what this looks like in practice, there's security schemes, OpenID, and I guess we add this as is.
Yeah, basically, I think so. I mean, we're gonna let's pare away like everything that doesn't matter for what we're trying to test. I think.
Yep. And in this case, security scheme. Let me check this. What does this look like in practice? So it's the OpenID type, OpenID correct. My guess is this the actual security scheme, the OpenID one in this case? I guess it is, right?
Yeah,
All right, so yeah, this was what I was gonna do. So I was just gonna paste it like that. All right,
I don't know if that's exactly the right place in the tree to put it, but it's gonna be.
that was what I was wondering. If like,
Can you paste the whole? Because I don't have it in VS Code. Can you paste like
yeah.
and comment out the entire that whole thing somewhere so we can just it's components securities.
Oh, sorry. Eh, I want to leave it as a comment for us. All right, cool. Thank you. Mind you, this is really confusing. I've never used VS Code with this much zoom. All right.
If you hide the terminal at the bottom for temporarily, I think you can do it with just hitting the X. Yeah, then that'll give you some more.
All right, cool. Yeah, this helps.
What about the stuff above this? Is it components? Like what's at the like you got? I got to see from the root. Can you paste the whole OpenAPI document that you have, like the entire thing?
Yeah. It's components, security schemes, and then the security scheme. You probably want this entire chunk, right?
Yeah.
And then should we are we gonna put it all or just the chunk that we need?
I think I guess we might as well put it all. I don't really know the answer to that question. So, yeah, maybe we should. We could have just run this through. You know what we should do is just run this through like a JSON, turn the YAML into JSON guy. Do you have a well, anyway, that's fine. We can just type it.
An extension to convert this.
I don't know, or something.
I wonder if there is an extension for this. All extensions, JSON to YAML. In this case, YAML to JSON. YAML to JSON install. Let's try this one.
Got it.
What did you say?
Got it. The VS Code is freaking out about double quotes and stuff, but if you hit save, I don't have ESLint extension installed on my live share, but if you hit save, it should do all that.
Oh, snap. It's complaining about a few errors here, but my guess is this should be fine.
Try saving again. Let's see if it fixed those lint errors.
Yeah. I'm pressing save, but it's not.
It's not doing it? You don't have the... All right. Let me try to install the ESLint extension real quick.
Yep. Supposedly I have it. It's this one, right? From Microsoft.
Yeah, usually for me, it does it on save. Like, these problems are all fixable, but, well, whatever.
If not, I can just convert them all.
Yeah, that looks good.
Do we still need this as unknown? What does this do?
This
As
is like a
unknown.
special. Let's try. This is a special Java TypeScript thing that says, like, I know this is wrong, but just go with it. Like, that's really what it does. It's saying, like, cast it to something cast it to the top type, which is unknown, and then cast it down to something else. It's kind of a hack, but it's like it's the suggested hack.
All right. In which case, here the two equal. I guess we could copy paste from the Insomnia generator one, right? Or not? What would you suggest in this case?
Yeah, let's do that.
Then I need to run. I need to run app start again. Wait. All right, I'm in. Declare the config, and at one point they get here. So
Yeah,
my guess is we just
what
want.
we really care about, like that array. We'll just check the first, like, even up high, like one thing higher, the first object in the plugins array. That's all. Yeah, that's what we want. The whole thing.
Okay.
You missed a part of it.
Oh, sorry. Indeed, I did. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Oh, this I don't need. This I also don't need. And my guess is single quotes. So come here and another here. All right. And now it's complaining. What about the indentation? No. Oh, okay. It was the indentation. Command. Oh snap! It's still complaining about the indentation. Any idea why it would still be complaining about that? Is it complaining on your side?
Yeah, it is. It's indented one level too deep.
Oh, that's all. When I run quick fix, it doesn't. It wasn't fixing it. What? Oh snap! All right.
I'll try to figure this one out.
I guess no. I guess in this case, it's like OpenID Connect plugin, right?
Is that what it is? I didn't know if we had a type. I'll try. Let's try that.
Does not exist in type. Wait, is the result the plugin itself?
TypeScript is saying, hey, you asked me to look for something that doesn't exist on one of the plugins. So one of the plugins, the keyauth plugin, doesn't have plugin.
Okay.
The basic auth one, the OpenAPI D1 does. So okay, the way we can get around that, I don't like putting if statements in tests because it creates branches, right? But if
Yeah.
not like result, not plugin in result, like this is not what we'll end with, but
Yeah.
oh, do we have to wrap this in parentheses or some shit? Okay, let's see. Let's look. Result. If
Object is possibly no.
okay, so if result and not plugin in result return. So result is equal to null. Oh, if not result or saying what am I missing here?
if plugin.
Let's look at the result type. So you can hit, you can go to definition on the I think it's like, let's go to generate security plugin here.
Yeah.
Go to type definition. Okay. Key auth plugin. That's not quite right. We want to find that type of that this thing returns, this function returns. Does it not have a type?
I don't think it does.
Oh, it does. Oh, because it's inferred from all these things. Okay. So, right. So we're not going to be able to, or null. So if we say like, if null, then return, and then this line here is saying if, well, we can make a type guard. It's funny. I ask this question in anyone who's going to interview at Kong. I ask exactly this situation, exactly this question comes up for creating you know, type guards. But I really don't want to deal with it right now. I just want to like, if plugin does not exist in result, let's do plugin does not exist in type never. So it's telling us all of these have plugin. Let's go look because maybe something's wrong that we don't understand. Plugin does not exist in key auth plugin. So let's go find key auth plugin. We can go to definition on this generate guy.
Yeah.
And then one of these is going to be key auth plugin. Yeah, it's this first one. Let's go to definition on that. And let's go to key auth plugin, definition of that. And we see here that plugin is not in the list.
Yeah.
So that's correct. Okay. So then TypeScript is not wrong or something. It's telling us, hey, you called .plugin even though it doesn't have that. So I don't know. We can like to match object. We can work around this another way. I'm not actually sure why this is not happening.
Mhm.
But the way we could work around this would be to do this. Plug in. I'm not doing any syntax work here. We
Yep.
could do this. So we're gonna say result, and then what is this? Required a space. Okay, so ESLint. I don't have ESLint, but if you can do Command P, or is it Command Shift P, and then autofix all, that should do it. Autofix.
No.
Oh, it does that. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's just
Oh, now it's complaining about the.
yeah, it's going
Okay.
to. Let's just we'll just do it by hand. I don't love that either, but whatever. Whatever. There, and then it needs that. Boy, it's like being in the dark ages. Okay. Well, we got it somehow. We can grab these guys. This one. Okay. So what we should see is that, and then like, I don't know about this. We don't need that anymore because we're matching on the whole thing. Okay. Well, I guess that looks better anyway. Whatever. This is probably easier for someone to see what we're actually testing against. So now what we want to do is we can get rid of this stuff up here. Now what we want to do is make sure we want to run the tests, make sure they pass, but then let's take away like I'll do that in the background. Let's take away the change that we made, like revert it and make sure that the test fails. I mean, that's technically not how TDD is supposed to go, but you're supposed to then refactor, but we're here and we're now. So that's the bad code. Yeah, so yeah, npm run.
What was the trick that we can do here?
So back up you can do -- prefix, and then packages, Insomnia app.
In this case, is it in the Insomnia app?
Oh, sorry, open API to Kong. You're right, 100%.
And I guess this should do the trick. All right, it's running. Okay, it failed something. It's declared, but it's value never used. All right, yeah, because we're.
Oh, for real? It's gonna fail on that. Okay.
Try again. All right, and it failed something. Generate concatenates. All right, it's filling the test.
The type
to lowercase.
That's fine. Let's just add it.
Wait, where are you?
Oh, interesting. Okay, hold on. We're supposed to pass the security scheme like itself, like this thing. We don't need. I'm sorry if you were doing that and I'm an idiot and I just misunderstood. We don't need this stuff at all. Because this function just gets a portion of it. It doesn't get the whole OpenAPI object.
Okay.
So maybe okay. Now is TypeScript going to be happy? It's going to say
because neither type sufficiently overlaps with the other.
Security scheme. Let's go to definition on that. OpenAPI Connect. Security scheme. Type name. OpenAPI deconnect URL description. So then it's actually this thing. So actually, we can type this as an OpenAPI. Oops. Sorry. Yeah, that thing. OpenAPI. Yep. And then fix the formatting manually. And then this should Opening. Oh, no, that's not it. It's there's a like name. A lot of these names overlap. So it's, oh, is that it? Oh, you're right.
But it's saying that it's
Mm-hmm. Yep.
required in time. So
Okay,
we're missing a mandatory field, no?
yeah, probably name is what we're missing.
Yeah.
So name. All right. All right, let's
All
run
right.
again, see what happens.
Sure. Do we have it here? Yes, we do. All right. Now it's complaining about some things. So likely, it's probably a similar case to what you mentioned. Like this is the plugin object itself, not the array. I don't know.
Um,
It seems that way.
right. Yes, you're probably right. Uh-huh.
We can try, right? Because this what it returns is uh, in our case it would return just the plugin itself. So it doesn't even have the it wouldn't even have the array and whatnot. All right.
Yep, you're right.
Oh snap. It's failing because it's missing something. Oh, because above we're not setting tags, I guess. Right? We're setting.
No, I think those are supposed to be there no matter what. But that OAS3 import thing, I think it's added automatically all the time. So we could look at other tests and see what. I guess we're using 2 equal. Maybe we could just use 2 equal here. But to match object is a little different because it like, yeah, it's checking a subset. So maybe we don't need these tags. You're right. That's okay.
And we also don't need the example scope. It can be an empty array as well. No?
Where would that information have come from in the first place?
It's a good question.
Like, how did it show up in the generated thing anyway?
Like in the here they don't have it at all.
It's in the path. See, look, paths example scope. This should be ejected. So we do want to keep it actually, and we want to make sure. So there's an array that's the second argument to the function for tags. Right now we had one that we have in the just for the tests. We have tags that are always that are like the same for all tests. You see this thing?
Yeah.
This comes from test helpers. So let's just use those. We don't have to use example scope, but we need to use.
And those are in the expect one, right?
We can do that.
Yeah.
See this? So now run it, like save it and run it again, and maybe now it will pass.
And where do these come from, the tags?
How many hours you got? It's a whole thing. Basically, like tags are essential to the way that the Kong config works and declarative config by proxy. And there's a lot of how do I say this positively, stuff that happens to get tags to appear in different places. And because it's the way that you group your infrastructure is using tags. You'll say like all the things that have this tag do this, and or like anything that has this tag, delete it if it's missing, you know. So like there's stuff like that that can happen. And that's why we like to test it as much as we can in our tests, because like it's pretty much the most essential feature of all of this conversion is that like it's all kind of for nothing if the tags don't work.
Mhm.
That's my rudimentary understanding anyway.
It's still failing though. It's saying that. Let me zoom this in a bit. So it's basically it's carrying a tag inside of it, and this one is ending up as empty. Probably because we need to add something on this one, right?
These args, actually, the second argument is being passed. So let's look at where generate security plugin is really called in the code, because notice that args is passed to the OpenID connect thing, but to nothing else. That's the only reason it seems to be in this function in the first place. So what is
Yeah.
args?
Args scopes required. So I guess we're not sending it, right?
Oh, okay. So we should just send. Oh,
We should just send the args on the
yeah, we should just send it and make sure it comes out on the other end.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. And I'm gonna start adding Lord of the Rings references instead of these.
I'm a big hater of adding stuff like that where it matters, like having test endpoints and stuff. Like I worked with someone a long time ago that put like they had like a test server, that mock server they made, and the endpoint you had to like know about and interact with was called Acon. And I was like, "What's Acon?" And they're like, "You know, like the rapper." And I was like, "I don't know. Tell me." But for something like this, where it's just like a string and you're checking that the same string comes out on the other side, yeah, put Lord of the Rings shit in. Why not? I mean, like, if it makes you chuckle when you read it in 6 months, then it's like totally worth it. It doesn't make it hard to read, and you don't need to like. It doesn't really matter what's in those strings, right? So
Yeah.
why not?
All right. We have a few minutes left. Let's do what you mentioned. We added the and in our case, we're just gonna remove the. I can just delete this line or comment it out. No, the conch security config.
Yeah, you could.
And in
Oh,
which case,
other way around.
tell me.
You want to comment out the plugin config, because before it was just
Oh, it was just the conch security, right?
yes. I put it below previous. See that? That's okay.
Oh, okay. So sorry.
Oh, good. Delete this.
All right. Let's delete it. Let's run the test, and the test in this case should fail. Do I need to bootstrap again before I run the tests?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, it's failing. All right. It's complaining, and all right. It doesn't have the received 0. So it was expecting to get this issuer and the scopes required stuff, and it doesn't. All right, cool.
Oh, awesome.
Are
So
we forgetting? Are we forgetting anything?
no, I think that's it. I'm really happy with that. Time flies when you're writing tests.
Yeah.
How
All right.
can we can finish up this later and push to the PR just because we only have like a minute or two left. Can we look
Yep.
at the release thing that you kicked off at the beginning?
All right. So if you just joined the stream beforehand, I triggered a new Insomnia Alpha version, which means in practice that we should have a pull request open here, and indeed we have, with an alpha ready to download the artifacts to build. And in theory, I could just wait. It failed. All right, it failed the test on Windows. Those have been flaky for a few days. In any case, then the next step for us to release this alpha out into the world would be just either to run this from the GitHub CLI or to go here into the publish and run the workflow and say, okay, which version am I publishing out into the world? And that's it. We end up with a new alpha version of Insomnia published out into the world. All right. I think that's pretty much it, Dimitri.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming to our stream, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.